Here we go with the Super Desperation Radio pre-Evo Special 2014. We've been doing this. This is like our second time doing this, I think.
Second or third.
Feels like it's been forever.
It feels like it's been forever. You know what the funny thing is? There's still only 3 people on this show every Evo.
Yeah.
We've never been able to get more than 3 people.
Everybody's traveling or just otherwise inconvenienced.
That is true. People have jobs and lives, and it takes them away from the things they love, like Super Desperation Radio. So we don't blame you for, trying to feed your children.
But we do hate you.
Yeah. We kind of do, but we also understand. But you're still a scumbag.
Yep.
I'm excited. It's another Evo 2014, long road. This one's going to be huge. Like, literally, the venue looks massive.
Yes.
The
floor plan is apparently out now. Rotanabor on Twitter put it up. I don't know if everybody's seen it. Putting it in chat right now. It looks interesting. It's a weird layout. But it could definitely work. The Mad Catz booth, by the way, is huge.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I'm a little jealous as an Arcade Shock employee.
Yeah.
But we're not an exhibitor, are we? We're just more like a merch.
You're an exhibitor. Exhibitor.
I think you're technically all considered exhibitors if you have a booth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I can put that on my resume.
So, Walkman and I were just discussing the weird layout of the main room. I think it's actually really good to have the tournament on the other side of the room from the stage, so you don't have a lot of people who are trying to play crowding in front of the stage while people are trying to watch marquee matches. I think that's a good thing. But it is a little weird to have people walk all the way across from one side to the other, since tournaments and the stage will be going on at the same time.
Right. I think this is definitely this is going to require some running on the part of the judges.
Yeah. But, well, then again, maybe not, considering in the past, what was it, that they always just ran certain pools on stage until they got to, like, quarters and semis, right? Like, the entire pool would go up? Or am I just misremembering?
I know you would be right, because I remember that, at least for KOF, there was definitely pools that got ran up on stream. And
okay.
I think sometimes we would draw from multiple pools. But at the same time, the pool was right next to the stream station, so it wasn't like it was that big of a distance or nothing like that. But it's definitely a practice we employ.
So the other thing that's interesting is the 2 different BYOCs in each room. I wonder if there's going to be what the difference is going to be. Like if certain games are going to be in one place, or if there's going to be things that are you're only allowed to have this over here, or if it's just going to all be first come first serve. I don't know.
I'm thinking it's going to be first come, first serve, but I'm assuming that in the Paradise Event Center, being near the tournament, and especially how big the Street Fighter is, that's probably going to be where people are going to do their exhibition matches and whatnot. They're probably just going to encroach upon that while everyone else will have snoozed and thus lost and move over to the other room.
Yeah.
Which is fine by me. More people going into the pavilion is a lot nicer.
Oh, yeah. And I have to say this, the first time I saw it, just a couple minutes ago, I was like, thank God they brought back the 2 rooms from last year, because that was a godsend.
Yeah.
2 years last year was so nice. Like, the room wasn't super hot. It was nice and cool because there was plenty of space for everyone. It didn't even smell terrible.
Nope.
Except until, I think it was, the finals day when everyone was sitting in there. It was getting a little warm.
Yeah, that Glade plug-in was working overtime.
But, I guess it's a good thing about Vegas, right? They pump oxygen into their place. So.
Well, they would have to in that situation. I just thought about it, though. That's like a perfect excuse for a player to say he lost. Like, yo, man, I'm not getting enough oxygen, man. The vents are shut off. Can't breathe up in here. But no, I like this layout. And, of course, the schematic does not do it justice, because this is probably not as nearly as compacted as it looks.
Oh, I'm sure not.
Yeah, there's probably huge, just gaps of space for people to just mill around and hang out. 2 BYOC areas, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I definitely
it could. Like I said, it'll just depend on what all it is.
I'm curious about the panels area, because I've always enjoyed panels at EVO.
Have they announced what they have this year?
I don't know. That's the thing. I understand they showed off some of the indie games that were going to be there already, But for the panels, I don't think I've seen anything. Who knows? Maybe they'll just kind of do them on the fly when people get there. They'll be like, "Hey, Gibby, talk about old man things," and I'll be like, "All right."
Oh, Gibby just rambles for an hour and a half.
Back in my day,
It's actually called Nap Time with Gibby.
played a special version of Fatal Fury. It wasn't number 2, nor was it special, but something in between.
And then, of course, the stream schedule is up as well.
I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, some people have had a few things to say about that. Some of it good, some of it not so much.
Such as?
Well, I won't name any names yet, but so far the reaction is mixed. Some people are saying that some games are being given too much attention for various reasons listed on various websites and forums. And some people are saying...
Damn, this is vague as hell, dude.
Yeah. Some people are saying a certain game isn't getting enough attention or enough stream time despite it having the 4th most entrants and having the biggest pot bonus.
Okay, so people are complaining about BlazBlue being on
people
first.
are bitching about BlazBlue not getting enough attention at EVO
Look,
this
it's
year.
the anime time slot. It's a well time-honored tradition at this point.
Somewhere out there amongst the 7 billion living on the planet, there are dissenters.
I did see a comment on Twitter, a running commentary thread between several people, and Ponder did point out that BlazBlue will start at approximately midnight Japanese time, so they'll actually be able to see it, and then they won't end up being able to see unless they stay up all night like we do.
You know they're gonna watch Street Fighter. I don't even want to.
Yeah, but that's 8 hours later. They can wake up for that.
Isn't
Do
that
they
Monday?
care
Isn't that
about
Monday,
Killer
though?
Instinct Smash? Maybe not.
Well,
So-
they have. I was looking at a website had compiled this. I don't have it at the moment, but they had a list of all the Japanese players and what games they were playing of the main games.
Yeah.
I found it pretty funny too because they have like Shay and Giuno on there. I'm like, well, I guess they count. I mean, they live in Japan, but the most entrants obviously was Ultra Street Fighter 4, and then after that, I think from Japan it was Ultimate Marvel, and then BlazBlue. And then I think after that, it was Smash Brothers. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I mean my knowledge of the Smash community is growing yet still very, small. But to see people come out for Smash Brothers from Japan, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess they do play it out there somewhere. Oh, and there's one guy from Japan is coming out to play Killer Instinct, Injustice, and Marvel. And
I'm going to tell you right now, there's like some dude on SRK's front page, I've seen him, and he's losing his shit over this one Japanese guy playing Killer Instinct. He's like, where did he learn how to play this game? I'm like, what? What about ST, though?
ST wasn't listed in there.
BB pools are going to be streamed by Joshua. So he posted that up on Twitter. So he'll be doing some of that, even though obviously that's not on the official schedule. He's decided to step in and do some of that. So that'll be cool too.
I believe that's a good option. Another issue was probably the most I would say. Would you say it's controversial that KOF 13 is only getting top 8 on Saturday, the same day of the pool, or is that just like a scheduling thing?
Personally, I think that it's fine. You're still going to get like the meat of a lot of it. People are going to miss out on certain matches, but King of Fighters has even less numbers than the 2 previous years before it.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty strong in there. It's not like it's gone the wayside or anything. At the same time, matches are pretty long, and while it is, slated for like what, 2 hours for finals, it might take longer than that. It's a pretty lengthy game. It can get to almost CVS2 level of length and just watching in general. Well, other games Marvel goes pretty quick. BlazBlue can go quick. It's like, oh no, I got beat up. Time to overdrive and win. We just play characters like that.
Does that work?
And I think there's a couple other things that are playing into that. Obviously, KOF is going to be missing its last 2 winners this year. Neither Mad nor Reynolds are showing up for the tournament.
Wait, Mad KOF isn't going to be there either?
I had heard that he's not.
Ouch.
Now, that could have all changed, but I had heard that a lot of those guys were having trouble getting money together to make it. So, that hurts things. You don't have a lot of people in the scene who are taking up their own streaming. Obviously, we used to have Wild Wallace here in SoCal who would stream stuff, but don't know if he is doing other stuff at Evo, or don't know. He's probably playing, obviously. So you just don't necessarily have that community participation to get all the pools. And honestly, if it was up to me and I was running the stream, do we put Street Fighter 4 on, Marvel on, or KOF on? It's going to one of the Capcom games. They're just going to draw more people.
That is true. It is the safest bet in terms of... Well, I don't know. Like, KOF can always pull in good numbers, but it also feels like it's like specifically KOF. You're not going to find a lot of people to stick around for a game like Injustice after KOF, most likely. A good number of those people are just going to go watch something else. So...
Yeah. Well, is KOF pools on Saturday? Is it all one day or is it Friday?
It's all one day.
It's all Saturday, and there are no there's no obviously streaming of pools, just top 8.
Right.
Okay. The only thing I could say looking at the stream schedule is I would have probably slotted KOF maybe over KI pools because the semis are going to be streamed, but I think that's just a decision you make, obviously. This is the first year for Killer Instinct, right?
That's true. And Microsoft, I think, is also a sponsor. So
yeah.
That's not supposed to matter, but...
It's not supposed to matter, but I mean, it could. And obviously, King of Fighters, it's been around, like Paul was saying. Killer Instinct is pretty new.
Obviously, you look at the numbers, and without saying for sure, because we don't know, I feel like this is the last year for KOF 13.
I would agree.
And Killer Instinct, with them now getting this whole rejuvenation from Iron Galaxy, this Season 2, it feels like this game is coming back next year. So it makes more sense for EVO to showcase a game that it assumes, even, who knows what the next year will bring, that it assumes will be coming back next year versus one game that it assumes this may be the swan song for. So,
I mean, I don't want to say that we'll never see it again, but I definitely feel like it would be like a really hard sell next year.
I do too.
Yeah.
Unless it's going to be like they don't have that, but they just have like, a super heavyweight King of Fighters bracket, like 32 top player contenders.
I think you can make a show out of that.
Yeah, like instead of having an open trading, but just like really get them in and just like put something on the line. SNK like somehow like goes to the Coinstar and like gets like an additional $4,000, and they're like, yeah, we did it. Like this is just for all the pride for people saying, well, this person's better than this person, but we can't say that because they never played it, blah, blah, blah. Like, just the final event. Just like, here it is, heavy hitter after heavy hitter. Everyone you wanted to see, here we go. And then,
like no
that would be cool. But obviously that's really difficult because getting heavy hitters from around the world is very costly.
I would say, especially for in KOF's case, where you're digging from a lot of places that don't normally have people that have money to travel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to think about it, like, of good King of Fighters players, like, there's pretty much one from every continent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving forward with that, looking at the Sunday schedule, obviously, BB, KI Smash, and then we got announcements and awards, Marvel 3, and then announcements and awards. Which is interesting to me because I don't think they've done that.
No.
Like split them up
where
like
they
that?
slot out 2 different sections for announcements. That gives me pause. I'll say that. It gives me pause. I wonder what they've got up their sleeve this year.
I would assume one of these is strictly aimed at like a game release.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it has to be.
Yeah. one's probably about maybe Evo next year or another tournament series or whatever, right? And then the other one's about like, yo, this game's coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would hope.
So.
But yeah, they've never done that before, and that's interesting, especially like in between games. I figured why not just make one huge block?
Yeah.
And just like give everybody a chance to like, recover from Smash Melee finals, come right in the decide if they want to watch Marvel 3 before Ultra. Or I guess that could be the trap. Is like, oh, if you don't want to watch Marvel 3, you're gonna miss this announcement.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
So, and we just had a couple dress rehearsals for Marvel 3 and Smash over the weekend. I don't know if people caught Curly Mustache or they caught Kings of Cali. Those tournaments had some really amazing top 8.
Yeah. Poor Beneath. I'm not gonna get
crushed, dude.
I'm not gonna get on this whole fuck Beneath movement because I feel that that's limited to like his close friends because obviously they do it in jest to some extent. I'm assuming.
I told it to his face yesterday. I was like, "Don't fuck up," and he gave me this look like, "Why did you say that?"
So if you're out there, chanting fuck Beneath and you don't know him on like a first name basis, you should probably stop.
I mean, I will say, fuck people who complain about getting counterpicked.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely say that.
But I mean, he should have had it, and then he just like gave up the ghost. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Isn't that just the story of his life?
Yeah.
He got mentally destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, I say what you will about Ryan, but he has got a pretty steel frame for a brain.
Yeah.
Hardly ever cracks, and when he loses, it's like he gets mad because he's like, "Oh shit, I was just about to do something awesome to you."
Well, and the other thing is that he's taken the time to learn multiple teams. He has backups.
Mm-hmm.
He plays 3 teams basically really well to cover what he would consider either bad matchups or hard matchups, so that he always has a go-to in case of things like a Firebrand team. He's like, I'm just going to play Morgan. I'm going to run away forever. Good luck.
It's like, you really wanted to play a one-player game? Well, now I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that was it was a really good set that just shows how much more preparation Ryan had put into it than Beneath had.
Right. I feel like Beneath has kind of just like maybe honed his ability to be a scumbag with that team, but really hasn't worked on variables.
Yeah.
He's like, if they slip out of this one setup, I've got this waiting for them. But if they get past that, well, I might actually have to play this game.
I thought it was funny that when he was playing, I saw him do this mix-up with Super Scroll where he jumps over him and then resets him and hits him from behind with the cross-up. I'm like, well, that would look really cool. Only to be informed by Hanzo Gonzo that that's pretty much day one, and the fact that Champ got hit by it was really, like, why?
Hey,
like,
sometimes it works, man.
I'm like, well, I thought it was cool.
Sometimes can't forget day 1 shit on day 256, man.
Yeah, I want the Dante combo to come back where they do that spinning fire thing into the super. You never see that move anymore. It's so bad.
And on the other hand was Kings of Cali, which Nerd Josh was telling me this after Grand Finals. Apparently, Armada and Mango have completely split down the middle all the matches they've played. As in, they've each won a certain amount of games. They've each won a certain amount of wins overall. So if they end up playing at EVO, that could be the tiebreaker, basically.
Yeah, that's going to be the one outstanding match to show who truly is the king. But at the same time, how do we know if they'll actually be there? Or fighting each other, or even in the tops?
Yeah, they may not make it to
Amsa Yoshi is showing Yoshi to be a much better character than anyone apparently thought that character could be.
I wasn't even aware that he had super armor on his second jump until one of my friends told me the other day, which allows him to
Josh was commenting about that to me and trying to explain it, and I remember just when I was playing that game, because I just play Smash casually, that it always felt like when he does the it's like way harder to do anything to him.
Yeah, because apparently there is, but I guess it also scales with percentage, where the higher percentage you have, the less armor you have on it or something like that.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, if you're at a low percentage, you can like blow through someone's attacks and just start hitting them. But
So those are two big games to watch. We've seen some of the best players for them in the last few days.
yeah, do you like watching people go nuts because they're getting excited? Like, definitely
Smash
watch
is going to be
Smash.
cool for that.
Well, actually, there was like some kind of post from Armado where he was saying like some people were getting a little too excited,
Yeah, I can believe that.
and some people were talking shit, and he was just like, "Hey, ease up," and they were like, "No."
I think it's also that stems from people's jeering towards Mewtwo King. Like, everybody hates on him. Like, and it's kind of hard for like he does so well, and I understand that he's done some things, and he's a part of organizations people aren't particularly fond of. But I mean, as a player, he's pretty good. I mean, sure, I don't cheer for him either. I'm not even going to play devil's advocate when it comes to that, just because I don't want to cheer for him. But some of the outright hate coming from the peanut gallery is just like astounding. Like, while he's trying to play a match.
Yeah. Well, you also had to remember it was Kings of Cali. There's a lot of West Coast bias, a lot of US bias. You're gonna run into that.
But
especially, did you see how close the crowd was behind them? It was
they were
literally a foot away.
That looks pretty nuts.
You could like lean over and tap him on the shoulder while he's playing or something.
Which is like the next step, right? Where like some dude just like runs into the middle of the game and just like slaps him across the face, and then like
some dude just
tackles him.
Blowing at the back of his ear, like his earlobe, while he's trying to play.
Yeah. Is this annoying you? Is this annoying you? Is this annoying you?
But they were also commenting on the fact that the setups that they have in the televisions have headphone jacks as well. So I think they're actually going to have like headphone setups for people that want to play to help cancel out the noise, or so they can hear game sounds, so people can react to certain sounds.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so that's nice.
So, anything else for Evo before we move on to the various news, notes, and other?
Evo. No, I don't really. I think everybody already knows what they're looking for, and they're pretty hype as it is. Oh,
I
check
have
out
a question.
I was gonna say just check out the indie area, because there's gonna be a bunch of great games there.
Yeah, we kind of tie back into it as we, if there's other games that we're going to be talking about that end up being at EVO. Obviously,
Right.
One of the big ones is Guilty Gear Xrd.
Oh, but that is also for later.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Hopefully I'll be able to have time to try out much of these indie games, so that way I can give people some input. Especially if there's any beat 'em ups there, I really want to try something like that.
Do you think one specific one might make it there that we've been waiting for a year?
I'd like it to be.
They've been kind of quiet. I'm kind of bothered by that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to ask. Maybe you guys know this, maybe you don't. What is this Matador film, and why is it screening?
I don't. I have no idea, actually.
I honestly thought it was like some kind of documentary about El Matador, because he's such a
that's what I was about to
player.
say. Like in reference to our beloved Vegas players, we have El Matador. like man, this guy is. I love this guy, but like he gets his own film and everything.
Yo, look at his hair. Like, not since Troy Polamalu have I seen a rug so fine.
So that'll be interesting if I'm not passed out by that point.
I mean, I might check it out real quick. It's on a Saturday, so I can't really tell you what I'll be doing at that hour.
All I know is Sunday's going to be interesting. Are the exhibitor booths going to stay open on Sundays?
I think so, yeah. Like,
Well, they did last year, at least to some extent, right? Or am I? Yeah.
I bring that up because I think the Bando Namkai booth might be closing.
Bando Namkai.
Bando Namkai. That's what I'm gonna call him from now
our
on.
spoonerism of the
Namkai.
month.
I totally intended that. Now my body did it, so obviously that's what I wanted.
You're like SDR semi-gummy, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think they might close Saturday. I don't know. Probably not.
Well, I know that Arcade Shock is going to be there on Sunday, and it sucks because we actually can't see anything from over there, so...
Bring all your
I'm sure that people will have like streams set up so you guys can watch.
I hope so. I hope somebody pays for the internet and the event hall, because like apparently you don't get that for free either. That's okay.
Sucks
though.
to be you, I suppose.
I know, man.
we got some more info, I guess,
Bring me some cookies.
about the Mad Catz booth and their own stream, I guess.
They're having
really?
their own stream?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they're having Yatagara's Attack on Cataclysm preview. That'll be cool.
Wow. This,
It's interesting.
yeah.
Persona 4 Arena, Soul Calibur 2 HD,
Persona 4 2 Exhibition?
Skullgirls. Top 8's going to be on Mad Catz, I guess.
Could you throw this up, Chris?
Yeah, it's up there. This is really interesting, because...
Yes.
Huh.
Thanks to Macross for pointing this out to me.
U.S. versus the world in Tag 2? That's interesting.
No wonder why they have such a big booth.
I was going to say, they're running exhibitions there, damn.
So
Oh, you know what? I guess the Persona thing makes sense because what is it? In Japan, they're releasing a Persona 4-2 stick.
Oh, okay. All right.
I believe that's right.
And they just happen to be... Are they releasing a Yatagarasu stick? Or something?
I think it might
don't
just
know.
be... Maybe that's like a preview.
Okay.
I'm assuming that, if I was a company that was small, I'd be like, I can't afford a booth. Maybe I can latch on to someone else if I help, pay their way. So,
Yeah, that's true.
that might be the case.
Usually the best way to go.
Yeah. We'll have some commensalism.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and also make sure you stop off at the Super Arcade booth because we'll be selling T-shirts and stuff, and you can hang out with Watts and Mondo, and I
Yeah.
think they're also streaming something, aren't they?
Probably, I don't know. But, yeah, give them some love, Tell them you're happy that Super Arcade's going to get renovations, because I am. I can't wait to see all the progress afterwards. But, I mean, they're there because you guys allowed them to exist.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then, of course, Namco Bandai is going to be handing out T-shirts to everybody who signed up for Tag 2.
I think
Design.
that was funny and smart that they announced Tag 2 shirts for everyone that signed up after it closed.
That
So
was
they didn't have-
brilliant.
Yeah, so they didn't have to spend countless dollars on like thousands of shirts for people that aren't going to play.
They made exactly the number. They're like, yep, it's the only perfect number for this.
And now other people might be getting jealous, and
I
some
was actually
people
gonna
are
say
going to be
that.
like, "Well, I could just sell it to you then, $30."
Not
something.
even, man. I'd be like 50 at the least.
Actually, yeah, it's probably collectors at this point. Like, you're not going to be able to get them anywhere else.
Ha,
Exactly.
joke's on you guys. I'm getting one.
Ha! I didn't sign up for anything because I'm going to be too busy.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to be busy. I'm
Devil
actually playing
Oscar,
Street
that's
Pass.
not canon. I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's not a
Respect
part of
the lore a little
the
too hard there, Chris.
Mishima
frickin-
family. Come on.
Freaking fanfiction.net crap, man.
Damn.
That's right, got him. No hashtag.
I don't know. Wasn't someone trying to like extract the devil gene or something like that?
We're not doing
Aren't
this.
they?
Not talking about Tekken's storyline. That shit hurts my head.
You see, Paul fought the aliens.
Oh my god. So, but obviously, with ArcSys there, Axis there, we're gonna have Guilty Gear Xr'd. But what we haven't heard is if they're gonna have any footage of Sin for us. Sin Kisuke got announced last week. I'm sure you all, since you actually watched this show, I'm sure you were all paying attention to it.
Mhm.
And we're as interested in the announcement as we are, honestly.
I'm not gonna say that I'm not enthused by it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, we all called it. We all saw the sprite in the
Yeah.
arcade version.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
So I won't say that that's killing the hype at all, but at the same time, I'm kind of scared that they're just gonna release this game with just that update, and we're gonna be like, really? You can't throw us anything else?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen simply because BlazBlue CP had 3 new characters, Persona 4 2 had 3 new characters, and these are for console, by the way.
Right.
I think Xr'd is going to follow that mold. I think we're getting 3.
Boy.
I would hope for 3, honestly.
So it looks like Sammy Fish is getting really excited out there because his favorite character has a son, and he's gonna have a character that he's also gonna try out. That's a new character.
I can't even say I don't agree with them.
I just Okay, Sin is stupid because the dude fights with a flag, but
He better have an American flag color. I'll be so.
Oh my god!
what? I haven't seen him in motion yet, and maybe it's cool. His gameplay mechanics sounds really interesting. It sounds sort of like a mix of Robo-Kai with other ideas thrown in, simply because he only can use special moves when he has a full stomach, and he has to eat to fill the stomach.
Yeah. And it
So
sounds like he might be a Rekka-based character, because they keep reiterating how he can string together special moves or something.
Yeah, as his stomach fullness gauge has multiple ticks into it, you can keep. I guess there might be a cap, but it'd be funny if there wasn't, where you could just spam special moves into special moves until you run out. But who knows how big that's going to be. Hopefully, the eating isn't going to take too long.
yeah.
So it sounds like he's going to be like Robo-Kai, Holy Order Soul, but different still. Like even.
Yeah. Even worse, right? Yeah.
Whoa! Hey, I didn't say that. I mean, he fights with the flag, so it looks like his normals are probably going to be pretty decent long.
All right, so if you figure we go about 16 colors, we can have one Sin for every nation in the top 16 of the World Cup.
Oh man, that'd be kind of sick.
So then,
But I think he could be really interesting. It'll be obviously we haven't seen him in motion to know how he's going to play or how weird the idea of the full stomach, empty stomach will play out. So it's hard to say 100%.
Right.
man, I hate Gears. He's like 10 years old, and he's like an adult man.
Well,
I'm sure he's also.
wasn't Dizzy like 2 or something?
She was like 3 or 5. So I don't know. Gears are weird.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this conversation because
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're not.
there's too many bad conversations I've had about this subject.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, it's just like, man, this guy may be 10 years old, but I'm sure he's a big dumb idiot.
Yeah, that's why he fits so well in the FGC.
Ooh, got him. But honestly, other than Sin, if I had to pick, I would like at least one returning character, one new character. If they do 2 more characters,
I get the feeling they might pick from Overture if they put more characters.
oh,
in.
obviously, because they're already grabbing characters from it.
Yeah.
So, what character would you like to see return?
Well, I mean, if I had to pick, it's going to be my character, Johnny. But
I kind of figured, but I wanted to see.
honestly, a really cool character to bring back for Xrd would be Zappa.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm going with
I would
Viking.
honestly, and for a character they would pick from the Overture universe, I'd like to see Dr. Paradigm. Bird Dragon Dinosaur Man.
I could either see Paradigm or what's the other guy? Iska something. What the hell the fuck that guy's name is? The Fox Man.
Oh, I don't even know, man.
Yeah, I figured they might pick him if they.
Obviously, what they need to do is they need to put in Battle Fantasia characters now.
Oh my god.
Throw in Dawn Valve or, Freed, actually, I would like. Just have
I'm just
Balrog,
gonna
Pirate
say-
Balrog.
I can't even remember what the designs for the Battle Fantasia characters were because they were so freaking weird and modeled weirdly in the game that I was like, I blocked it out of my mind. All I remember is the kid with the sword. He was legit.
I honestly never played Overture, and I only know about Overture characters because when Xrd got announced and they started talking about the storyline, I was like, oh, I should probably look up some of these characters because they're going to be in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't read the backstory in Overture. It's ridiculous.
I hurt myself actually trying to read it. I had to put it down and walk away and do a couple laps.
Well, obviously the reason why you had to do that was because, everything takes place in the backyard, and backyard wrestling should not be endorsed because it's very dangerous.
Right?
You hurt me so deeply just now.
Look at how many times Jeff Hardy got arrested for drug possession. That's why you didn't start in backyard wrestling, folks. So don't worry about the backyard. We don't even need it.
Izuna, that's his name. Like
Then
Izuna.
we're going to get rid of Sandbox as well. None of those.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The backyard is strictly for, maybe like a lounge chair, drink some pitcher of lemonade. Something.
Right.
Something nice.
Maybe a catapult?
No.
No?
A trebuchet.
You don't want a backyard catapult for your neighbors?
I'm pretty sure that would cause so many problems.
Or solve them.
Maybe. Like, man, Greg's really been pissing me off lately. I'm going to throw a boulder at his house. How did this giant rock get here? Who do I know that has just a catapult in their backyard?
Howdy do? But I don't know. I'm excited to see where this goes. I want I want the entire cast back. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. Plus, if you want to put the Overture characters in there, that's cool too. And then we'll see, maybe some newer characters that, clearly will come flying out of backyard and into our lives and hearts.
I honestly feel like we're going to get the entire original cast, save Justice and Cliff eventually.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody even really want Justice and Cliff that much?
I hope not.
I think there's one guy online that still rocks Cliff, he's legit now that he's balanced. And
they should just make a new guy and just call him Griff. And he's like a giant butterfly.
Giant butterfly knife.
You know what? We'll combine them and we'll call him Jiffy Peanut Butter because choosy moms choose Jif.
Oh man.
And then that's it.
I'm gonna spread it on.
What is a not choosy mom? Just does she just make no decisions, or
you don't
she's
want
just
to see what
really passive aggressive about it?
Yeah.
No.
You don't want to see that.
She just walks down the peanut butter aisle and just sticks a hand out, and whatever first one clips into the basket is just like whatever.
I'm just imagining it.
He's got peanut allergies.
It's peanut butter. It'll be fine. But I really... So I didn't get to play at Anime Expo because I had to wait in the line of death to get into Anime Expo. And then I saw that there was a line to play Xrd, so I was like, okay, I don't need it that bad. But I did sit and watch people play it for a couple minutes, and the game is as beautiful as everybody says it is when you see it in motion, but damn, it looks slow. It really looks slow. I'm talking like Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger slow.
Ouch.
So I'm not going to know until I play it how that feels compared to the old games. But it really shocked me. I was like, damn, this game does look slow.
I just really wish that games would do like the old Capcom thing where you could just have different turbo settings. And then eventually we'll just be like, I like Turbo 3 for Xrd, and that's the standard now. It was too slow. Let's go Turbo 3.
Well, let's think about it this way. Like they ended up speeding up Blaze Blue, right? At least for Chrono Phantasma.
Blaze Blue now plays at a speed I love. I love CP in terms of the way it plays.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's matured as a game, and I think it's fine.
Right. I can't say this for sure, but I feel like they might be doing that with Guilty Gear, where they're just like, let's bring them in, maybe like put it at a snail's pace for them so that they don't get immediately turned off by, old OGs that just feel right at home coming in. Let's have everybody adjust a little bit, and then as more releases and upgrades come out, we bump it up a couple notches,
Well, and obviously it could just be that I'm so used to watching the game at the highest level that it looks slower, because while there were people playing the game who I recognized from Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue down here, there were also a lot of people who didn't know what they were doing.
Okay.
That always, like we've talked about day 0, day 1 tournaments, games always look worse when they're brand new and you try to put them out there and watch people play them.
All right, I got a question.
Yeah.
Did you have one of those moments where you were watching somebody play and you were just like, I want to grab the stick from that guy? Like, you don't deserve to play this shit.
No, I didn't. What I really want is that I want people to really enjoy this game, and I want more people to play it.
Yeah.
Because Guilty Gear has always been a really niche game. It's always had a very dedicated following, and I think Xrd is the first chance that the game will have in America to really grab the entire fighting game community all at once, and I want that to happen.
Wasn't that kind of like that with like Reload or AC? Wasn't there like a period of time where like a lot of people were playing everything, including Gear?
I think for
Reload was pretty big because it was on original Xbox.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would say it almost happened by accident. I would say that the popularity of it almost happened by accident because nobody was playing X or Midnight Carnival, and then Reload came out, and people were like, well, there's not a lot of fighting games out on, Xbox, and people I know may have mentioned this game, so I'll give it a shot, and a lot of people liked it. A lot of Marvel 2 players played Reload, so there was that kind of crossover back in the day, and I think it kind of just petered out after Slash because people were like, what the fuck is this?
Well, yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. Of course, one of those being that without an arcade, because everybody played every game in the arcade, because you were waiting to play something else. Without having arcades, it was much easier for everybody to segment into their own little groups that only play one game or two games.
Yeah.
But I think the game has a good shot, and if slowing it down a little bit to get people in, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think we can still enjoy it. The system itself doesn't look bad. The system itself doesn't look terrible. I think we've all come to terms with, yellow RCs, Blitz Shield. I don't even think Blitz Shield was a horrible idea until I saw it done 3 times back to back, and I was like, that still looks fun.
The thing about Blitz Shield is that I feel like obviously certain characters are going to utilize it way better because for those of you who don't know, when you Blitz Shield, essentially it's like open up like a guard impact from like Soul Calibur where the people are staggered and they can't do anything, but they can Blitz Shield. So if you try to attack them, it's just like, it's like Street Fighter the arcade, throw, reversal. You throw someone and he goes for this whole thing until you hit Slam Master, and then someone finally gets thrown at the end. I feel like with the way Blitz Shield is that they're still there, but they can Blitz Shield, which will stop attacks. But if you have a character that could just grab someone, like, you can just Blitz Shield and, Pop Buster, Wild Throw, something.
Yeah.
So there's definitely characters who could utilize it way better.
Well, it's really interesting because Blitz Shield is basically GI from Soul Calibur. And the ability to basically GI back is important. But I was telling Sanchez, who is, of course, not here because he works, jackass. I said that basically Xrd could end up being like the third strike of Guilty Gear, where basically parry becomes a very integral part of the game because of you need to meter manage to have it, to know when to use it, to know when to not use it. But we'll see.
It would definitely eliminate a lot of I don't know if it just is one of those catch-all guard things Faultless Defense, but it would seem like it would eliminate a lot of setups that people felt like they couldn't deal with, Like a lot of people say Eddie comes in there and he's got 18 hands all over the place and you're like, oh, Blitz Shield, and he's like, fuck, At least it gets him off you.
Yeah.
That's all Theory Fighter though, and we don't do that here on SDR.
Much.
We do, but we don't.
We don't admit it when we do.
No, I mean we just don't close our minds to it. It's like this is a possibility, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's set in stone because we haven't done anything.
Yeah, I saw a match, and I don't know why I was surprised by this because I remember when they were first hawking this game to people, and they were talking about the upgraded clash system, which the pinnacle of that was Danger Time, and so you saw so few Danger Time activations at first, and then more along the way that I think a lot of people forgot that it was still a clash and that it would reset you to neutral because there was definitely a video I saw last night where a Danger Time happened between a Kai player doing Vapor Thrust and I forget somebody else, but they just clash, right? And so Danger Time happens and the other character decides to do this super unsafe, but heavy damaging move because Kai's clearly stuck in this fucking Vapor Thrust animation, except he's not because it's a freaking clash. So he just resets to neutral and heavy slashes him in the air and gets the counter. I'm just like, oh my god. That might be kind of dumb later on. Just fishing for clashes with Vapor Thrust.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it.
But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see a little bit more. It'll be good to... Hopefully I'll be able to sit down... Well, I guess I'll probably end up standing up in line for a while at EVO to play Xrd, but I think it'll be fun. I want to give it a shot, and can't wait to play the game.
Let's hope they have more than one setup.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I hope that they bring some other games too. It was obviously they're the publisher for Under Night. That'd be cool. Or I don't know, maybe give people a taste of Persona 2. Persona
I feel
4
like
maybe
Persona 2 is going to be there, especially with the exhibition.
Yeah.
But I wonder. Obviously, they didn't. This is the first we've even heard about the exhibition. I wonder, is it going to be? They're going to just invite certain players to play? Are the Japanese playing? What? I have no idea.
Well, apparently the thing to do this year is like everybody's running their own little like exhibition event. Like SNK is going to be there, and they're running an exhibition event for KOF 13. And the people have already been announced for that, so you can just I don't know if they're going to stream that or not, but it might be just a strictly spectator in person thing. But yeah, I feel like everybody's just like whatever, our game's not on stage right now, so we'll just run our own event on the side.
Which is cool, I think. That gives everybody an opportunity to watch or participate in something they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it almost feels like they're actually trying to let us enjoy ourselves once, instead of like telling us, you should be enjoying this.
I do feel pretty bad for people trying to watch at home, because it feels like there is going to be so many different streams and so much content. It's going to be hard to keep up with everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that's still not a bad thing.
No, it's definitely not. It's never bad to have too much of something like that, where you can come, especially when you can come back and watch it later.
Yeah.
So.
And then maybe that'll entice you to bring your butt over next year.
Yep, it's true. But moving on from Xrd, what else we got? Under Night comes out at the end of the month. I know Anthony's hype.
Mm-hmm.
We in there.
And it has an international release with no real slated date, but it's coming out sometime next year.
That awkward 2015 date.
I hate it. I was hoping that they were going to be a couple of months or simultaneous worldwide release, because they're fighting games, people.
It's Arxis though, man.
Yeah.
It's Axis, isn't it?
Axis, okay.
So I think that I'm of two minds of this. Where the first one is, it's a waste, because everybody who wants to play the game is going to just use PSN to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like Axis might be wasting money and time and resources, but maybe not. Maybe they're going to not make that money. Maybe that they're not investing that much into it. Maybe that's why it's coming out in 2015. I don't know. Possibly.
Here's the other thing, though. Another French-bred developed game is going to be coming out. I don't know if 2015 or not, but Dengenki Fighting Battle Climax, whatever. Dengenki Faku.
Dengenki Buko Fighting Climax.
Yeah, Dengenki Faku is coming out in America. And I didn't see this on SRK or on Event Hubs or anything. I saw this on an anime fan website, because that's who they're selling to.
Because that's where you hang out.
Yeah, that's where I hang out, and I troll everybody because I have an adult's mind, and everybody's just trying to catch up to me.
I don't know if I believe that.
On the anime site, totally legit, man. I'm the alpha male. But I'm just saying. I feel like they're trying to sell these games not only to us, but to people who just like anime. Like Dengenki Faku, that's just a no-brainer. People are going to be all over that just to say they own it. And then you kind of maybe package it with Under Night, which, while I don't particularly care for that strategy, I know that there's going to be some crossover going on there.
I feel like, if anything, even an anime game properly markets itself and puts himself out there, that it could actually do exceedingly well. Right. Just like, oh, check it out, Under Night's coming out, and for a special thing, we also have, I don't know, the Vice Schwartz cards and some other stuff, and just like merchandise.
In my mouth.
I'm just saying, there's definitely a lot of venues that they could do to promote themselves, which probably wouldn't be spreading themselves too thin, rather than just straight up come on out and play. They could make a community where there's people for a new property like this. So It really just depends on how much people really want to back their game into the marketing scene.
Right, and the thing, and there are, for everybody who's going to import this game strictly for competitive reasons, there's going to be a lot more that aren't.
Yeah, I kind of want to import it, obviously to play, but honestly, they have all these different bonuses from pre-orders, but with physical merchandise you get. I really want the cell phone screen cleaner sticker thing. You know, they're kind of like those Street Fighter ones from Arcade Shock, but
Yeah.
but it's Under Night. I'm like, wow, I really want this.
Merchandising at its best.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing is, the game is really cheap for like an import game because like, well, Blaze Blue was like what 7,000, almost 8,000 yen, but if you bought it online, it was like 6,800.
Still kind of steep.
But this is only 5,800. This is like $10 off.
Yeah.
And at some places you can get it for 52, and then you have to pay shipping, but it's like 58 and free shipping. So roughly $60. Same thing you'd pay for a fully priced American game, but importing it.
I mean, for me, I'm just getting the digital copy, so I'm probably paying.
Yeah, and then you just get the digital copy, and then you may be like, "Hey, dude, half and half. Let's go."
Yeah.
You know?
Let me borrow that cell phone cleaner real quick.
Yeah.
But I think like when it comes out in America, people will want to pre-order it again because they might have different bonuses. There might be translated material that they would want to have. There's a lot they can do with this, and
yeah. The funny thing about Under Night, from what I can tell, is that the world is actually fairly open and expansive. Like, I guess there's like tons of story characters, and they're like 30 characters deep, and like they're not even in the game, but there's like that one girl who was essentially exactly Seal from Tsukihime and Melty Blood. Like they just have like all this stuff and going every which way. So I mean, this is a new original IP from this company. So if you like this company or if you like the game, definitely support them and help them expand.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was an anime.
This is practically like a step up from like being kickstarted. Yeah. Because they used to just make games that they sold at conventions.
Well, that was Dojin time, That was we'd be over on Dojin style.
That was the indie games back in the day.
I mean, it still exists, but some of these guys made it big time. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a TV show for Under Night In-Birth before 2016.
Kind of like how Mighty Number 9 has one now too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like TV show out of nowhere. All right.
It's like okay, like whatever. People were gonna buy it anyway, but that's nice.
License Under Night In-Birth to like I don't know, some like foreign Canadian 3D animator and make a TV show.
Jesus Christ!
Network. Yeah, it'd be terrible, but you get money from licensing. Look at Super Mario and other stuff.
Dude, if we're gonna do that, we might as well just like license it to the CW. They can make it a teen drama out of it. Tell me it wouldn't work.
Oh, instead of Smallville, it'd just be called like
it'd be called like Underville or something.
Yeah. It's about Hyde going through high school and all this other stuff, and eventually in the second season, this mysterious girl, whatever her name is, comes out.
Like, can you imagine if like American teens were introduced to like the Japanese harem style of writing?
It's live action.
Oh my God!
Let's
sexy teenagers. Oh.
Let's not.
Yeah,
we ask that you scale it back a little bit.
I'm just
reel it in here.
There's definitely licensing prospects out there, people.
Just gonna sink one.
How many zeros would you like at the end of your check?
All right, I'm cool. I'm straight.
Okay, you good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, other than that, one of the big things that actually came across my timeline today was that Teiya actually posted results to lag tests that he's done for various sticks. And the results are kind of interesting, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, kind of. I could definitely say kind of. Because I always knew...
Interesting is definitely, like, it's definitely a word I would use here, yes.
Deep in my heart, I knew that Hori were really good.
Yeah, well, I had always heard... I knew that I read a couple lag tests a few years ago saying that Hori were the best, and then both Kanba and Mad Catz lagged. But he actually took the time and scienced all of this out. So...
Man.
Obviously, it's just one stick test, and to a certain extent, his controls are not flawless. He chose sticks that he didn't have any way to test in and of themselves.
How do you measure them then?
Basically, he went with he went with the Real Arcade Pro VX based on other tests he had seen, and then he used for PS3. He compared the stick he used to that stick.
Okay.
So,
I'm just glad to know that all my sticks that end up on this list are all at least B tier.
Yeah, I was looking at this and I'm just like, oh man, I got that PS360 and apparently it's a little laggy on Xbox, and I look at it on PS3 and I'm like, oh, it's perfectly fine. I'm going to be using it on PS3 and PC anyway, so I don't care.
Oh man, the glow LED is 5.4. That's gonna hurt.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. It's still not a frame, but it's like when you present this to somebody who's already got like a case of hypochondria, it's like
yeah.
I want to re-give this.
It's funny too because think about this for a second. When people play, they're always so concerned. They're like, "This doesn't feel right. Can someone give me a Mad Catz?" You know, they're looking for like a standard. Like a top player asks for someone, but it's not necessarily like I'm just not saying to say it's necessarily a bad thing. It kind of is, because, especially if you want, frame perfect inputs. But how they've learned how to play the game, it's more of the feel, and you can see why. Not necessarily just buttons and sticks are what's important, but the response time as well.
Fuck!
So,
I shouldn't have showed this. Vin's gonna kill me.
No, that's all fine.
I know it's fine, but the F tier is the Aki Shop Customs PS360 Plus, which we have like stacks of.
That's only on Xbox.
Okay.
On PS3, it's only like 3 milliseconds or something like that.
It's weird how...
It also says high variance, so I'm assuming it probably depends on the game.
It's weird how, by and large, the lag is much greater on PS3 than it is on 360.
Yeah, as a whole.
Like, they don't even have a lagless stick.
But I think that the reason for that is that because doesn't PS3 already have like a natural so many milliseconds of lag anyways?
I think was it for rendering, or that's just like, I don't know. I remember for Street Fighter at least that was like an issue.
Yeah, but like as you can see, the PS360 is really good for the PS3.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the PS360 Plus, being the amazing piece of hardware it is, like could probably find something to help tighten up the variance with some sort of patch update, because I mean they're going to be getting PS4 support, and I'm assuming Xbox One if they can manage it. But apparently they do already have PS4 support. It's just in beta drivers. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of good things. So remember, like more lag is generally bad, especially if it gets really bad out there. But 1 frame to less than that isn't going to change too much, and it really just depends on how it feels to you. So if you want to be borrowing people's sticks and the common thing is a Mad Catz, well, maybe get yourself a Mad Catz, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think, honestly, the biggest thing that people should note from this is bring your own stick.
Yeah.
Because you should play with what you're comfortable on, and if you can't bring your own, be sure to grab something that is the same type of what you're playing on.
Yeah.
Or else you have nobody to blame but yourself for dropping combos.
The game lagged. The game didn't lag.
Yeah,
it was controller variance.
We can now prove it was not the monitor.
So if you lose with your own equipment or someone else's equipment, it's always been on you. Oh man, my button went out. Well, that was your fault. Oh, it was someone else's stick. Why'd you use their stick? Should have had your own. Made sure it was on the top tier. Condition. Just like it's all on how you do it. So if you don't bring your stick and you complain, either go out there and learn on every single stick. Just borrow everyone's stick of a different type and practice on it at places.
And this is, of course, not including and this is different from display lag. So that's a whole nother ball of wax. There's so much of this now with different monitors, different sticks, even obviously differences across consoles. The only thing that I think any of us would agree on is get used to what the tournament standard would be in terms of a monitor, and always use your own stick. Because otherwise you can't be sure that what you're playing on will not feel different to you when you have to play in a tournament.
Pretty much
Yeah. I think Otherwise, you're asking to get really angry.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many factors involved there, like unfamiliarity with like the way the stick is made. Some people have different different gates, so you might not be ready for that, or the buttons pressure may be a little more sensitive than yours. So,
what's really interesting too is a lot of like same companies too even have variants between their hardware. Yeah. Where it's like this Mad Catz does this, but this one's this. This Hori is this one. This Hori is this.
Yeah, like there's no real like continuity there.
Yeah, like I'm sure with the sticks itself, it's fine, but between different models, you can't just be like, well, this one was super laggy, so I can't get this one. But then there's no data.
In his methodology page, Taya explained that pretty much all the Kanba PCBs are the same across sticks, but every other company, if it's a different make or model of a stick, it could be a different variant.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because I mean, look at that Real Arcade Pro for the PS3. It has that natural, 2 or 3 frames of lag, but that's still fine. Yeah. So don't get all up in arms when you just like look over at your stick and you're like, oh no, 7 milliseconds.
It's your fault. Stick's flying out the window as we speak.
Remember, most common errors occur between the brain and the controller, aka your hands.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh man.
aka that's your bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't be bad. I'm the best though.
I don't know how to explain it to you. Then I'm really confused.
I don't know. Like, this is a little aside. That's somewhat on the topic of this, because we've always talked about this. People always blame other things, but don't you hate someone who blames other reasons for losing more than someone who just be like, "Well, I guess I messed up,"
Yeah.
Why can't people just own up to their own mistakes?
You don't like the excuse parade? Not a big fan?
No. It's just like, oh, TV lagged. It was on a different console. I never used this stick before. The light was in my eyes. I forgot to wear my lucky shoes. And,
I was colluding.
I always prefer to go with the, you are ass at this game, and then they're like, I beat you. And I said, I never said I was good.
Yeah. Or that's also one of the funny things where, like, you beat someone like, oh, so you think you're good because you beat? Like, no, but I'm better than you. Like, at the end of the day, you got rocked and I didn't, so...
See you tomorrow.
But...
Oh, man.
I know, Chris, you had something you wanted to talk about?
I did, and this seems like a pretty good time to talk about it since we're talking about people complaining about stuff. With it being Evo season, and every year this always seems to pop up. People want to make it out to the event. Some people can't afford to make it out. They, side note, should have been planning a lot sooner, but I'll get to that later. Donation drives. Donation drives always seem to pop up around Evo time. Sometimes a little bit earlier than that. Sometimes really freaking close to Evo. I'll save my thoughts on donation drives for later because that's not really the point of what I'm trying to say. But I just want to remind everybody that donating to a player or a company or anything that wants to make it out to Evo or any other event that they feel they should make it to is an at-will action. You don't have to give them money. It's not required of you as an FGC member or a competitor or a stream monster especially to give anybody money to show up someplace you can't be.
Man, that Hell Pockets guy is trying to get to, like, Northwest Majors. I hate that guy, but I just gotta give him $20.
Exactly, like, or even if they don't give me $20, like, why are you like another thing? Why are you mad that somebody's even got their hand out? Like, okay, sure, like that is a sign of somebody who, clearly is not very good with money, or maybe doesn't have any to begin with. It's hard. I think life is hard enough for them as it is if they're not good enough with money to go and do the things they love.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't seem like it's a worthwhile argument to have. Yet, all week, and I know a week has only been 1 day so far, which really makes me think like we've gotten too used to complaining about shit that we can't do anything about. But for this entire week, people have just been complaining about who's got a donation drive up now to go to Evo, and I'm just like, there's better things to talk about, people.
I kind of want to dovetail this with another topic really quick, but I will completely agree with you, is that if people want to ask for money, that's well within their right, and it's also well within the rights of other people to complain about those people, but why? You're not going to stop them, and it's not going to... You're just really derailing every other conversation that could be had about this.
Exactly.
So just let people do what they want, because everybody's free to do with their money what they want. So if they want to donate to their favorite player, hey, maybe that guy's a shithead, maybe that girl's a shithead, that's still their money. They get to do with it as they please. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that person being a shithead, that's something completely different. That has nothing to do with the donation drive.
Yeah.
Now, this, of course, dovetails with the Wednesday night fights, next level Battle Coliseum 5-on-5, and that's where I have a problem. Which is, in the case of an exhibition event like this, where money is on the line, not that these people are paying anything themselves, by the way, to play, from what I have been told. But if you're trying to set up an event and some people are like, well, I'm not playing unless this person plays because they were on the team originally and now they can't come.
Jesus Christ.
That should have been parsed out long time ago. People should have been locked into spots. It should have been made sure that they were coming.
Mm-hmm.
That is an organizer problem.
Right.
That is not a player problem.
No, I will admit that, the fact that the players are deciding suddenly to pull out of something that they had already allowed themselves to be a part of and officially announced, that's kind of shitty. But at the same time, there's no accountability here at all. It was all completely optional.
They have nothing on the line. Because, and the other thing is, too, because the teams were never announced, it's a very malleable event. Like, it could still end up happening. It's just now maybe, certain players won't be on the team. Sanford Dominion might not be on the East Coast team.
Right. But there will be 5 people from NLBC there. And they can easily be replaced with them. But at the same time, I already see where you're going with that, where people are just like, well, so-and-so wasn't there, and this is fucked up, so why even have it,
Well, and then, of course, you always get the thing where people are like, well, our best players weren't there. It just becomes this slippery slope of dumb bullshit.
Exactly.
Well, our best players were playing on this stick, and this is the new hip thing to say.
But that is exactly that's part of the problem, is like when people when they allow themselves to focus on everything but the actual issue, then it just suddenly becomes about everything but what's causing the problem, like with the donation thing.
Honestly, in this case, like you said, the donation thing is not the problem. The problem is that lack of plans have affected an event that is going to affect the overall Evo.
Yeah.
Like, if this doesn't go well, it looks bad for Evo. If they wanted to make sure that this was going to happen as planned, they should have gotten behind the planning. That's really what I
find it hard to believe that they weren't. I don't know how they could let that happen. Usually.
Well, I think the problem was because they were waiting to get, because Henry and Watson, from what I remember being told, are the ones picking the team.
Oh.
I don't know if they ever had to choose a concrete team list and submit it to Evo.
You think they could just hold on to that until the day of?
Oh, I'm sure they could.
That's ridiculous.
So, I assume that we're not going to know who's on each team until Evo. And then they'll just trot 5 people out.
I mean, it could still end up being all right, but I can tell you right now, if it's not, Team Pie and Snake Eyes and everybody else and whatnot, it's going to be met with a huge backlash. I mean, and the funny part is people are still going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
No, people will watch it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
They'll watch it just to talk shit, or they'll watch it to be surprised by the fact that maybe some people are still... they're still good players other than who you've heard of,
Well, and, if one side just, wipes the other side for whatever reason, people are going to just wipe it so they can talk shit.
Oh, yeah, totally. So, always a silver lining.
So, it's just one of those situations where it's a weird situation because this is something that was not hammered out, not set in stone, and now people are trying to put some sort of responsibility on it for these players to be there when there was never any responsibility for them to be there in the first place.
Right. Especially not in our realm of understanding when we knew nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, if Sanford, for whatever reason, didn't feel like he had the money to go or didn't want to go until the last minute, of course you can say, well, if he had thought he wanted to go, he probably should have at least tried to get his shit together, but maybe he didn't care until everybody on Twitter pressuring him, 3 days before the event. Well, then he's going to be like, okay, you guys want me to go? I'll go if you pay for it. I see nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because if you don't like it, don't donate to him.
And that's the whole story right there. And I will never say that I personally agree with some donation drives. I think there's some donation drives that do a lot of good for people, and I think there's some donation drives that literally is just some dude who didn't want to pay his own way out there, and so, he suckered a bunch of people into giving him money for potato salad.
Now, I have something to say about donation drives, just kind of as we're on the topic. My complaint with it is that why do people do them in like the shortest time frame possible to get this done? It's like, oh man, Evo's next week. I better get prepared. Give me money, please. And it's like, dude, if you know that Evo's gonna go, and if you know that you're probably gonna end up being broke, wouldn't you want to like not hurt your, the people who would help you out's wallet by be like, I'm gonna go to Evo, but money's looking tight, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it because of these things. But we have a slated date, and I can get a plane ticket, and I still have 4 months. Donate to me now so I can get there later, and instead of having to pay $1,000 ticket to fly out to Vegas, I can pay $200 round trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you just plan this in advance, because these things are happening, there are going to be dates to be like, I want to go to here, here, and here, and maybe I can like do something to entertain you guys, stream or whatever, but maybe help me out if you want to or not. But if you do it sooner, there's going to be less money that other people are going to have to pay, and more likely for you to achieve your goal. Because at the end of the day, it's not like, well, I can get more money if I wait later. Yeah, you can get more money, but you're going to spend more money. You're not. It's not like you're trying to make money here. You're just trying to do something. So
unless you're catching a boat out there or some shit, and then
like
scamming everybody.
Like, if you obviously this should also be done on a case by case basis, because there are times where people are like, I have this to do that time of the year, I can't do it, and then last minute maybe. But as a whole, try and plan it beforehand, like.
Well, I completely agree that if you want to maximize your chances of meeting your goal, you should definitely try to plan ahead. But I think there's a lot of people who want to paint this as everybody pulling something over on the community. And the reality of it is you cannot eliminate the free rider problem.
Exactly.
There are people who definitely need this money because they can't afford it. There are definitely people who are going to try to take advantage of it. You will never make enough rules to stop people who want to game the system from gaming it.
Yeah.
So why make it harder for people who need help to get that help? That's it.
At the end of the day,
let people choose what they want to do with their own money, and because I'm not going to go out there asking for people's donations because I don't feel like I need to. That's not something I feel like I should do. But if other people do feel like they need to, they should have that right. They should have that ability.
Yeah.
And we can't stop them now when everybody else has made like almost a subculture of it where you can like almost fund your daily activities because you're an entertaining guy and people want to give you money, Yeah. What's the difference between this guy doing it who people hate but some people love and this guy who's a media darling but might be a scumbag in real life?
Yeah.
But, think about it, too. Like, we've had Reddit get together and sell T-shirts to help fundraise people. Like, there's things you can do.
Oh, no, I completely agree. There are definitely better or worse ways of doing it in terms of, hey, it's going to cost everybody who donates less money overall, so they don't have to donate as much. And basically, there can be fewer people who have to do it. I think that's true. There are definitely better and worse ways of doing it. But I don't want to place a value on a person asking for donations saying, well, you're a shit ass because
No, yeah.
you wait until the last minute. I don't think
Right.
that's a fair thing to do.
No, yeah, definitely. That's why I say everything's on a case-by-case basis in this world. I don't want to hear this like whole, well, according to this case of blah, blah. It's like, yeah, well, that was like 30 years ago and everything's changed, so I don't want to really hear that shit. Everything is different in pretty much most cases.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to say, on a case-by-case basis, as a kind of a rule of thumb, if someone has their shit together and like breaks down what they need and they do it in an orderly time before things get out of hand, I'd probably more likely to be like, hey, I'll give this guy $5, you know. But if some guy's just like last minute and he just kind of seems like he's doesn't know where he's going and just kind of floating around in life and just being like, yeah, you know, get me to Evo, I'll do a hype match, I'll, you know, give a thumbs up on stream for you guys if I'm on stream.
'Cause I can't afford to give you nothing in return.
Yeah, I'm not,
yeah, exactly. Because
Like-
the first guy marketed it to you better.
yeah. Or like even if he was still flying by his pants, he had a plan. He's like, well, I want to go, and I'm broke, but maybe people can help me out. So I'm just like, put some thought into this. Don't wait too late. Like, just
No, because it does suck. Because especially if you wait really late, there's a chance that you're not going to get to go, and the people who were trying to help you out are still going to be disappointed.
yeah,
That sucks. Then everybody loses, you know.
Mhm.
yeah.
So I feel like you're right in that. Hey, if you can foresee troubles like this coming up, you should go for it. You should try to set your, and especially for something like Evo where registration closed like 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
and opened 4 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like,
And so some people may not even be regged and they want to go. And that's,
Yeah.
I think that's like the real fucking, like, where people are afraid of it. They're just like, fuck, I just don't want to fund this guy's vacation. And then he goes back home and doesn't do anything with his life, you know?
yeah,
So it is a complicated topic. I don't want it to seem as simple as maybe we've made it out to be here. But I think the last thing and the worst thing you can do in situations like this is tell people to never donate.
Right.
yeah.
Because you're letting somebody get over on you or you're giving them a free ride. It's never that simple. Please don't take that stance on it.
Yeah. Ask your questions if you're thinking about donating. Talk to this person, see if maybe it's worth your time, and if it's not, what did you lose? 5 minutes? You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Just do your due diligence. It's your money. If you value it, then find out what you need to find out.
And always exercise personal responsibility.
Yeah, because you're not just gonna take
Uh-oh.
it like unmarked in the mail and just be like anywhere and be like, well, let's see if this pans out for me. You know, like I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
exactly.
you're gonna think a lot more about your money.
You're not tying a $20 bill to a little stake in your front yard and just saying free.
Yeah, it's like here you go. Like, let's see if something will come of this. Well, someone's gonna get $20. That's what's gonna come of it, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I found $20 on the ground. Somebody donated it to me. Clearly, I don't know who it was, but I sure took it.
And that guy
Yeah.
ain't getting shit.
who knows? Because of that, you might have been able to better society because it helped Paul in some way.
There you go. But
Yeah, so
All
don't be too judgmental about things. If you're really concerned, check it out for yourself, because obviously throwing your money into the money pit is never a good idea to go in blind.
Yeah.
especially if you don't have a lot of money yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can afford to go, try not to shit on people who don't, but are still asking to go.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot
Yeah.
of people like to prop up certain people in the community who, you know, wear their employment like a badge of courage, basically. Like, hey, I've got a job, I pay for everything, you know, and that's cool. I'm proud of everybody who works and is a productive member of society, but that does not give you the right to impose your standards on somebody else who
Yeah,
probably
don't give me this. I did it, so can you? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Real life doesn't work like that.
Like, who was that guy? Like, I think, like, Slasher's doing that shit where he was all like, I'm not asking for donations to go out there. And I'm like, you're fucking Slasher, man. Are you
I'm not
serious?
asking for donations because maybe my company comps it or something. I
Or
don't know.
something
he
like
got
that.
fired,
Like,
actually.
he got fired, but he probably has enough money to make it out to Vegas.
I figure he'll have a job by the end of the month.
Yeah. It's not the same thing. So, stop it.
But there you go. Anything else, guys?
Did I have something? I feel like I did. Oh, yes. Patrick Miller, member of the community, Pat the Flip on Twitter.
My editor at SRK.
Wrote a book called From Masher to Master with a lot of the help. And it's essentially for beginners, for fighting game players. So if you know anybody that's always like, I want to get into fighting games, but I don't know how, or stuff like that. Or even as someone who's played and wants to get better, or someone who plays well, maybe not at the top level, or even if you're a top level player, you should definitely give it a look at, because there's maybe a lot of concepts that you do or don't do that you don't really think about, but could give you a nice refresher on the course. Be like, I'm such an idiot. Why didn't I think about this? Like, oh, there's definitely a lot more to it than that. And it's free. Just go on to the website and get it for free. You get to literally pay $0 for information. Then that's the wondrous thing about the information age, is that there's information out there that you could do to educate yourself or others.
Yeah.
So, make sure that you grasp a hold of whatever's there, or to any of your friends who are just like, I like fighting games, but I don't even know where to start. Like, here you go. Here's the manual. This is like a good set of information.
For anybody who has never sat down and read anything that Pat has written, other than maybe a news post here and there, Pat's a really talented writer. He makes his ideas very basic to grasp, but they're still complex ideas. So from one writer to another, I think his writing style is really good. And I haven't actually gotten a chance to sit down with the book yet myself, but I look forward to doing so.
Yeah, I skimmed through a couple of things. I made sure to go look at the pictures, because they're drawn by Persona and Kuniko, both of Lab Zero fame artists.
Weeb.
They're Americans.
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I like Americans' art, which makes me want to be Japanese person. All right.
Look, we've already had this conversation about not listening to Chris, right? I mean, come on.
I just feel like this is
even
totally...
I don't listen to me. What's wrong with you, Tony?
No, I'm just saying this is definitely like a lampoon or like a satirical thing where people are just so judgmental and ignorant about these things. Like, what a weeb. This guy likes art.
I'm changing the landscape of that word. It will no longer mean want to be Japanese. It'll mean want to be anything.
Look at this weeb. I bet he has a daki of Venus de Milo.
Like instead of that, it'll be like, look at this weeb. I bet he's like enjoying like English class and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you want to turn it into nerd?
Basically, yeah.
Well, it kind of is. Just
Well,
it's a corruption of many different.
That's discrimination. That's discrimination, though.
You have fun with that campaign, Chris.
I calls them as I sees them, and I don't seize anything because I'm blind. Because I am justice.
Other than that, Tokido is it an autobiography coming out?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he wrote it, yeah.
It'll be coming out in a couple of days. It's probably going to be in Japanese.
Obviously. That's interesting. And then I'm sure if you play Street Fighter 4, you've already clued into the 4Gamer interview roundtable that they did with top Japanese players about the game, about Ultra Street Fighter 4, their thoughts. I haven't actually looked at it at all, but a lot of the quotes that have been coming out of it are really interesting stuff. I think it's really eye-opening for American players to see that they talk about each other and the game exactly like we do.
Yeah, it's like, of course, there's definitely going to be language barriers and then different like ways that people conduct themselves. But at the end of the day, it's from the couple of articles I've seen, these guys are great. Good stand-up fellows.
They're literally just clowning on Kazunoko the entire time for playing you. That's hilarious.
Like, it's great. Definitely check them out.
Is there a quote that one guy just says, "Who the fuck is Kazunoko?"
There should be, but no, yeah, they're great articles. Honestly, it'd be nice if we could just spend a whole episode on it, but at this point, it might not be the proper time frame. But they're great. I can guarantee that just to see these guys talking, because they're just a bunch of friends who all share the same interest.
Gentlemen of a certain class.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is also funny. There's a lot of the stuff Kazunoko says though, where it's just like, well, that's not my problem because I play you, and they're like, well,
yeah, exactly.
He's like, I feel like you could answer that question, and you could answer every question with that statement.
So,
I think that's about covered it. And we did not expect to go to 8 p.m. today. So
Yeah.
No, we really thought we were gonna. I thought we were gonna be short with it being Evo, and because it's Evo, I didn't want to just sit around and talk for Evo for an hour and a half. We made it.
It's all for you guys.
I am not sure if we will be on next week. It is very possible that we will be, but damn, I feel like we're all going to be really tired.
Yeah. Well, I probably might even be just driving at that time.
Yeah, you're driving back, so you may not be home in time. And I think I'm getting back around, I want to say 5-ish.
If only I had what's it called? If only I had 4G on my device, I could just stream my car ride home for 8 hours.
If only we had like free worldwide satellite internet.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
From what you guys are saying, my guess is we will not have a show next week.
We'll try something.
If we do, we will obviously post up and let everybody know.
I have an idea. Let's just steal the freight time slot because they're not going to use it.
I mean, that's probably true.
Yeah.
So we'll just
If for whatever reason we do not have a show next week, we might actually do something like stealing the phrase time slot.
Yeah,
Do
just
Thursday
like
show.
I mean,
what are they going to do? What is Gary going to do?
I don't know. We don't have to adhere to these time constructs that these wizards made up.
I
We
even
could
have,
just
Wow, wizards. Done.
I even have the Frey like splash page, so we can use that if they have a problem with it.
That would be sick. Okay.
Super Desperation Radio.
Wow. All right,
we're
so
doing
I
this.
think we're done here.
As always, we're beyond done.
If you are coming to Evo and you see any of us, somehow knowing what we look like, come up and say hello, say what's up. I'll probably hide from you. Chris will probably be drunk.
You can contribute to that.
I'm going
Don't
to
do that. Don't ever do that.
don't donate to this man.
Don't
I will
donate to
turn your
Chris.
dollars into booze.
And if you are going to Evo, I hope you have a lot of fun.
Give me a hug. I'm asking for hugs because nobody hugs me. So I'll be at the arcade shock booth.
Oh yeah, come to
You
the
guys
arcade
will
shop
all
booth
be at
and
the
buy
Arcade Shock booth, won't
some.
you?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
working.
You, Gibby,
Me, Gibby,
Chris.
Jaime.
Nocturnal.
Yeah.
Come buy stuff from us. We got buttons and stuff that you want.
And potentially people we know that are just going to hang around us. You could be one of those people.
Yeah.
So, hope everybody has a good time at Evo. If you can't make it, I hope you tune in. It's going to be a crazy weekend. It's going to be really high level play in every game across the board. Can't even front. So,
Shout outs to Spider Carnage too, because I think he said he's going to bring us something special from Australia.
oh, that'll be good.
That I can only assume what it'll be.
It's a koala. I know it's a koala.
Those deadly koalas.
Foscas.
They sell that in Vegas. I remember.
Oh,
Do you know what I really want Spider
The
Carnage
Foster's
to bring
chicken
us?
for $2. It was pretty good.
No, you know what I really want? I want him to come and have like this big like a bag and then just open it up and then just nothing. Like nothing. And then just laugh at us. That would be the
dick shit is
greatest
that?
burn. Be like, this dude came over the pond to come say that he's got something for us, and he just like flips us off or like
Like,
throws
I
us.
mean, that's all we really
These
deserve,
nuts!
right?
I will laugh so hard if that were the case.
He
It'd
just
be
comes up
great.
to us and yells, "These nuts!"
Yeah.
So, but everybody have a fun time this weekend. It's going to be great. And for everybody here at Super Desperation Radio, good night and good luck.